Hi everyone, Stephanie with Mama Bear Inc. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another card making video. If this is your first visit, I sure am glad you're here and I hope you'll consider subscribing. Today's card is going to be made using the Stampin' Up! Stamp set called Antique Tags. Now this is a hostess set. You can purchase this with Stampin' Rewards once your order reaches $150 or more. I believe this set is $10 or $11, so if you just do an order of $150, you'll have $15 in Stampin' Rewards and you'll be able to purchase a hostess set. So we are going to be using the Noel out of this set today, and we're also going to be using the matching label bracket punch. The label bracket punch is available in our annual catalog, and I will have a link to it on my blog, and there is a link to my blog below. So we'll put this away for just a moment, and we already have our Noel stamp mounted up on our clear block. The other things that we are going to need today are the Stampin' Up! Project Life Corner Rounder Punch and several pieces of cardstock. We're going to start with our card base, and this is made of smoky slate, and it is cut 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And what we're going to do with this is just fold it over, burnish the fold with our bone folder, and we have now created a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch side folding A2 size card, which fits into Stampin' Up's medium sized envelopes just perfectly. For our layers today, we're going to be using Real Red, and the first layer is cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And we're going to be using a piece of the Merry Moments Designer Series paper, and this is from the DSP pack, not the paper stack. And this is cut 4 by 5 1/4. We're also going to need an additional piece of smoky slate, and this is cut 1 3/4 by 4 1/2. And another little piece of Real Red, cut 2 3/4 by 2 inches. So, and then the other thing that we'll need is just a scrap of Whisper White, which is what we're going to do our stamping and punching on. So to get started, let's go ahead and take our 2 small pieces. These small pieces are the ones that we are going to be rounding the corners of. So we'll get that done right off the bat. All right, those corners are rounded, and to just keep it all kind of the same, we're going to be rounding the corners of our base layers as well. So rounding the corners, I'm going to round the outside corners. So I'm going to round the outside corners of our card base. And of our Real Red. And of our Designer Series paper. Okay, that's all our corner rounding. Now let's go ahead and start putting some of these panels together. We're going to attach our Designer Series paper piece to our Real Red layer using snail. Remember to line it up. Now these are just 1/8 of an inch apart, so make sure to line those up and center them nicely. And then we will take our panel here and attach it to our card base, just again using snail adhesive. Now then, we are going to take our small pieces of cardstock that we cut, and these are going to be attached to the front of the card like so. But I'm thinking as I'm looking at these that I want to jazz them up a little, and I'm not quite sure how I want to do that. So I want to jazz these up a little bit. I just think that they look a little plain the way that they are, and I've determined that I'm going to use that, or do that, using this snowflake cluster stamp, and this is from the Wonderland set. It's this stamp right here, and we're going to stamp on the smoky slate in smoky slate ink and on the Real Red in Real Red ink, so that we just get kind of a tone on tone look. Nothing too bright or glitzy. We just kind of want to give it a little bit of texture without giving it texture, if you kind of know what I mean. So just going to stamp these snowflakes on the 2 layers randomly. And I am liking the way this looks quite a bit better than just leaving it plain. So we will get some snail on the back of these and get them in place. And it would help if I was what? Am I not using it right? What is going on with this thing today? All right. Yeah. Get some snail on the back of these. I will, I promise. Oh, for crying out loud. This thing is driving me bonkers. All right, there we go. Now, I want to make sure that I get this nice and straight, or as straight as my eyeballs can get it, because I think my eyeballs are crooked. And get some snail on the back of the red piece here as well. And this is why I use my grid paper to kind of help me square some of this stuff up, because my eyeballs are crooked. All right, so we have our smaller layer pieces in place. The next thing that we're going to do is stamp our Noel stamp, and we need a piece of Whisper White. I'm just going to use a scrap that I happen to have handy. And we're not going to stamp this in just one ink, because you know how I love to color in these stamps. And we're going to be coloring it in today using Old Olive and Real Red Stampin' Write markers. And I'm going to use the Old Olive for the outside of this image. That's good for the Old Olive. And now we're going to do the Noel in Real Red. And now, because some of our ink has likely dried, we're going to hub on it to bring it back to life and stamp. And there is our 2-tone image. Gosh, I just love that. Okay, now we're going to bring in our label bracket punch. There we go. We'll center this image up in our punch. Just take an extra couple of seconds to make sure it's right where you want it. Give it a punch and it pops right out, perfectly cut right around your stamp. Just beautiful. And now we're going to place our little Noel right there on the front of the card. And we want to do that using some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to use my grid paper again to square this up and make sure I'm putting it on as straight as I can. And we'll lay that down. And that is going to complete our card for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I've enjoyed spending time with you, and I look forward to doing so again soon. Take care.